So we'll see.
But do you think are you still a bit tough fight? But you expect him to stop him?
I expect him. I believe he will win the fight. I believe he'll win the fight. How he wins it, we'll see.
The worrying thing is with Moses' style, he could be landing some serious bombs, sharp bombs that do a lot of damage to Dillian early doors, so he can never get into the fight. So yeah, I think it's stacked against Dillian. I'm not saying that Dillian can't do anything in the fight. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if I'm looking at it from the outside in and just looking at how I see both men's stages of careers, the styles.
White has done that. There's a difference. And Dillian White, for me, looks like a guy that's in shape to go the distance, or to at least to ask questions of this young pup.
Frank Warren predicts that Moses Itama will win the fight against Dillian White, though he acknowledges it will be a tough challenge. He respects White's punching power, but believes Moses can handle the pressure and emerge victorious. Warren openly admits he wants Moses to win, viewing him as the future of the heavyweight division.
What is your forecast for this fight?
I think he'll be in a tough fight. I know he's got the punch power to hurt and stop Dillian White, but I also know that Dillian White also has the punch power to cause damage. And the one thing with Moses at the moment is that's not been tested. So we'll see.
But do you think are you still a bit tough fight? But you expect him to stop him?
I expect him. I believe he will win the fight. I believe he'll win the fight. How he wins it, we'll see. For me, beating him is a big thing.
Right.
However he does it, and I want to see the other side of him as well. I want to see him. I want to see him in a tough 12-round fight where he comes through it and boxes his way through it. He's not a one-trick pony. He can box, but as I say, this is a tough one. This is going to be. This is a fans' fight.
Yeah, it's a great fight.
That's what it is. It is a fans' fight.
Ade Oladipo, a respected boxing analyst and commentator, highlights that Dillian White's recent performances have not been his best. However, he notes a significant change in the lead-up to this fight. Training camp updates and released footage reveal a completely different White, leaner, sharper, and physically prepared. Oladipo believes this improved condition, perhaps close to the best shape of White's career, could make him a real threat to the young and rising Moses Itama, potentially pushing him to his limits in the ring.
All of a sudden, people have seen the shape that I saw a video, which I'm guessing you guys have seen as well, of Dillian White hitting the heavy bag and doing a bit of shadow boxing. He looked incredible. Dillian White, me and G-Man did the look back, didn't we? Dillian White versus Chisora. And Dillian White looked in incredible shape there. And I was thinking, if he can get close to that, he's close to that. He's close to that. Dillian White in his last few fights has been around the 260 mark. I think it might have even been heavy for a couple. I think he looks low 250s. And all I can ask from a fighter, this is why I get so pissed off with Martin Bakole, just get in shape. Skill. You're not going to change a fighter from fucking where you are to Muhammad Ali. I'm not asking for that. Just get in shape. Dillian White has ticked that box. And he's like, okay, if you think I'm going over to Saudi Arabia just to get smoked by this 20-year-old, we'll see. That's what I'm taking from the shape I'm seeing him in, because he looks incredible. And also, when he's firing out his jab in that little shadow boxing, his arms are so long. Dillian White, compared to his body structure, he has overly long arms. What I'm getting at is that Dillian White can box a bit as well, He's not just a brawler, he's been tagged as this brawler. He can box a little bit. Is he a better boxer than Moses? No. But that jab could be key. Jab's always key, right? We always talk about it. But one thing I see with Dillian White being in this shape is that he's saying, if I can take this young boy past 6, we're going to go into deep waters that this young boy's never been before. And it's all well and good Moses saying, I'm sparring 10 rounds, I'm sparring 12 rounds. And, I was on TalkSport when you mentioned this yesterday. Fighting 10 rounds is different. Fighting 12 rounds is different. Dillian White's done that. And look, sometimes Dillian White's blown out of his ass. Sometimes Dillian White's been beat in those 12-round fights. But Dillian White has done that. There's a difference. And Dillian White, for me, looks like a guy that's in shape to go the distance, or to at least to ask questions of this young pup.
Lawrence Wee, a former professional boxer and analyst, emphasizes that while Moses Itama has delivered impressive performances and victories, none have been against someone with Dillian White's level of experience and caliber. Moses is still early in his career and lacks the years of elite-level ring time that White has accumulated. Wee suggests this experience gap could significantly influence how the fight unfolds.
Relax, Moses has been performing under the bright lights, but what I'm saying is, it's still so early and he's got a lot to prove. Up until this point I can't argue, he's passed every test with flying colours, but the problem is, he's passed so easily, he's missed out on valuable lessons along the way, and he's now got a very experienced veteran in front of him, in Dillian White, who's been at world level. Everybody's written Dillian off, but recently, seeing interviews and seeing training footage, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I've got to be honest, my mind's starting to shift. Let's take a look and discuss the key takeaways.
I don't think I've ever seen you be this big an underdog in a fight. You are like 1 to 14.
Dev asked Dillian, how does he feel being the underdog?
And that's what makes you dangerous. As an underdog, you're underneath. You get up at them testicles and lock onto them, and it's game over.
It's crazy really because, like I said, he's fought at world level, fighting the likes of Povetkin, Fury, Chisora, AJ, Parker, the list goes on. But in sports, you're only as good as your last performance. In Dillian's last fight, he looked terrible, putting it politely.
Has he put something in you? Because like your last few fights, Ebenezer like instilled a fear, not...
No man is putting anything in me. Pause this.
Dillian does make me laugh. Dark humour. But maybe that says more about me. He says it the way it is. There's no sugar coating. Dev says, is this the biggest risk he's took in his career? Which again is madness.
All of them has been massive because you think no one's ever had me as the favourite. Think of one fight that was the favourite. Just think.
Dylan's right. He's always the underdog. It's nothing new.
How do you reflect on your fight with Tete?
It was what it was. Listen, I've been walking the long, lonely, dark road for 3 years.
This is the thing, people forget that fighters go through things outside of the ring which affect the performance, but us fans only judge the performance. At the end of the day, fighters are human, they're not robots.
Then that fight for me was ask myself a question, can I take a good walk and push through? Can I force myself to put the jabs in? Can I...
He admits he wasn't in great shape, but that fight for him was about dipping his foot in the water and seeing if he still got it and still wants it.
I had a few injuries and stuff going into the fight, but it is what it was. But that fight reignited the...
Recent training footage of Dillian White has impressed many observers who had previously questioned his sharpness after a period of inactivity, and an unconvincing last fight. The latest clips show him moving with intent, throwing powerful combinations, and maintaining a focused rhythm during drills. His physique appears close to his peak condition, reminiscent of his 2018 form when he decisively stopped Lucas Brown. This renewed energy and discipline have sparked optimism among his supporters, who believe he still possesses the tools to compete at a high level.
Like late 18, right? I remember him knocking out Lucas Brown. When he knocked out Lucas Brown, he looked like he was in the best shape of his life. He looks similar or better now, which is very impressive. And I think, like Terrence Crawford, people are now looking at Dillian White. You know, seeing is believing. You know, when we see results, we start believing in those results. I think now people understand that Dillian White has taken this very seriously. He's been out of the ring for a long time. His last two opponents quit. Tete and Hammer, they both quit. And I think that Dillian, this is his last hurrah. If it's his last hurrah, if it's his last time to shine, he has nothing to lose. Why not go out with a bang? Why not go in the best shape possible? Why not do what you're supposed to do in training camp? Okay, because you can't really predict what happens in that ring except you and that other guy. It's up to you or that other guy. But in training camp, you have a team around you. You have determination, you have motivation, you have discipline more than likely. Okay? And I think that Dillian White is looking great, bro. He is looking great. He doesn't have the unbalanced body type like you normally see him. He's too big upper body, the legs are small. You know what I mean? He's throwing, he's all off balance because of the imbalance of his body. But I do think that Dillian White will come in to make a splash. And this is how you're supposed to look if you intend on doing it. I love the way he looks. He looks great. He looks in shape. He looks like he's ready for a battle. That's what it's about.
Anthony Yarde, a British light heavyweight contender, believes Moses Itama has shown greatness from the very start. Even at just 18 years old, Yarde sees in Moses the qualities needed for future dominance in the heavyweight division and is confident in his ability to become the next major champion. His conviction comes from witnessing Moses's performances firsthand and recognizing the mentality required to succeed at the sport's highest level.
So much pressure now on this young man's shoulders. Like, if he doesn't look spectacular against Dillian White, all of a sudden people are like, that's how fickle boxing fans are. We're so fucking fickle. If he doesn't look great against Dillian White, we'll be like, he's almost got to ice Dillian White for everyone to say, yeah, he's the king. You know what I mean? For him to continue that trajectory, because he is like a fucking rocket ship at the moment. Going on the eye test, I think he has absolutely everything. Going on what people tell me about him, I think he has absolutely everything. Like, I hear the sparring stories. Guys, there is so much I could share on this channel that I don't. Like, so much. But I hear the sparring stories. I know who he's hurt. I know who he's wobbled. I know all those things. And he's a bad man. Honestly, he's a bad man. I look at him, it's funny. I don't feel like I'm interviewing a 20-year-old. Do you know what I mean? He just is a man, isn't he? But yet he's a kid. And being a kid isn't a bad thing in the sport of boxing, because there is that kind of fearlessness, like this youthful exuberance, speed. You're not damaged goods. You haven't been through the trenches. The politics of boxing hasn't made you fall out of love with the sport yet. So as much as people say he lacks experience, sometimes lacking experience in those things I've just mentioned can't be too bad.
Boxing fans and media analysts agree that there is immense pressure on Moses Itama heading into this fight. Many believe that unless he convincingly defeats Dillian White, his earlier achievements will lose value in the eyes of the public. In boxing, reputations can change overnight, and one underwhelming performance could raise doubts about his readiness for the top names in the division. For Moses, this fight is not just about securing another win, it is about defending his hard-earned reputation and maintaining the momentum of his rapid rise.
Moses Itama, his first headline event, takes on the body snatcher Dillian White. You first on this. How good is Moses? I mean, you must hear the stories that everyone seems to hear about the sparring and all that. How good is Moses when you're watching him?
I've seen Moses, and I've said this from the beginning, from when he was 18, 19. This guy, he's it.
He's it.
He is it. He is it. This is my opinion. It's boxing. I know it's pressure and all these kind of things or whatever, but he's it.
Why?
He's got skill set, fast hands, footwork. From what I've seen, he's got a chin. Not that you need to be getting hit with these wild shots, because clearly you've done something wrong if you got hit. Good jab, you know. For me, in my opinion, he's it.